Hello everyone, welcome. Greetings from London. As you can probably tell already, this is going to be a little bit of a different video. And the reason is, as you can see, I'm not in the studio. And the reason why I'm not in the studio is because there are some major works going on in there. So I can't really make a video from the studio right now, but hold that thought. It's gonna be nice. There was a very good reason today for me to make this video, because I want to show you something. So a few days ago, babyaudio got in touch with me and they said, Dom, we have a new plugin, you have to check this out because we know you're gonna love this. And my first reaction was like, oh man, I have the studio build in the works right now, I can't make a video, it's going to be impossible. But then I found out that this plugin is actually a reverb. And you know me, I'm a reverb junkie, so I couldn't resist. I was like, you know what, I'm just going to install this on my laptop and check it out. You know, that's all I can do. I want to check it out because it sounds like it's really cool. And I thought to myself, how much more can I expect from a reverb these days? I have so many reverbs. And my friends, this is the reason why I'm making this video today, and the bird agrees. I was blown away by this plugin, so I decided to make this special video today so I can share it with you, because I know, and you know who you are, quite a few of you got in touch with me on emails and you said, hey, are you going to show this plugin? It looks really cool. Have you seen this? Yes, I've seen this. So why don't we go into the studio lobby and check it out together? Audio interface, trusty headphones, and we're good to go. So there we go. Here we are in Cubase 12, and here I have Crystalline. Crystalline, you know, I might get it wrong, who cares? The great thing with this plugin is that it just sounds amazing. One thing that I was really interested with this plugin is the gate. Very, very important. I'm going to show you in a second. And of course, as always, some really cool tricks with the babyaudio plugins. We have the sync start and end, ducker, dry, wet, freeze, and reverse. So immediately when I saw the interface, I was like, okay, I have to check this out. This looks amazing. So I want to play examples straight away. And to check this out, I'm going to use the drums from my Modern 80s drum kit. If you want to check it out, I'm going to link it right here. But let's start completely dry. And then I'm going to start introducing some reverb. And as you can see, immediately I was inspired and I created my own bank with my own reverb presets. So let's start with the magic gate, and I'm going to play a loop and let's see how it sounds. So completely dry right now. Okay, I think now you already get the point and you can understand why I was so excited and I wanted to make this video today. This is a beautiful reverb, and the first thing I tried it on was drums because I saw that immediately it had the gate, it had all these different depth options like the resolution. Sometimes I like my drum reverbs to be a little bit lo-fi, and of course babyaudio are masters of lo-fi, so you can actually make the resolution basic and you can have shimmer on and off, all these things. But then there are some really cool tricks that you can do with this reverb that if you wanted to recreate them with a different reverb, it would probably take quite a few plugins, a lot of processing and a lot of knowledge on how to do this. And Crystalline makes this Super easy. So I'm going to start tweaking the parameters and explain a little bit what I do, right? So I'm going to start with a basic preset, like a basic plate, and let's have a listen. I'm going to keep the dry wet. Of course, I would use this plugin as a send effect instead of insert effect, but for convenience here, so that we don't have to change the scent levels, I'm going to use the dry wet slider here. So let's have a listen, and I want you to listen to the different textures that we can get out of this reverb. So first we have the size. So we can go from tiny to small to medium to large and spacey. And this gives you a lot of flexibility. I really like the small, the tiny reverb. It really gives you a really nice space to make your drums or percussion or even vocals a little bit more 3D. Now let's try the sparkle. So sparkle, to my ears, it makes the reverb a little bit more hi-fi, a little bit more pristine. You know, you get this shimmery kind of sound out of this, which is really good. I love to have the option to make the reverb a little bit darker, but not like adding an EQ. And this is the reflections. Now, to my ears, this doesn't sound like early reflections necessarily, right? It sounds a little bit more of a cohesive sound with a tail. So let's check out the width. The width is really cool. Now, I'm going to move on to the depth now, and I want to show you some stuff that are really cool. First of all, the resolution, which is something that immediately I was drawn in. We can set it from basic to high to pristine. Let's go for a medium size reverb, and let's have a listen. So you can hear how dense and how rich it becomes when you have the resolution all the way to pristine. Sometimes you don't want this. Sometimes, I mean, maybe I would use this for vocals. Maybe I would use this for a nice string recording or something like this. But, you know, the basic would work great for kind of lo-fi or maybe drums in general, because it tends to blend better with these things. So I'm glad that we have these options here, and it's so easy to set up. You know, just one click and you can do this. I love that. So then we have the modulation, and I'm going to have it all the way to wet now so you can hear the modulation. Okay? See, it's flat. Now let's go all the way up with the modulation. See? So it's basically giving you a little bit of variation. Let me show you something that I was really impressed with. And this is the start and end sync. So basically, what you can do with this in Crystalline, it's a trick that many engineers use all the time. It's a very popular trick amongst mixing engineers. And basically what you do is you add a mono delay before your reverb send, and then you add the reverb. So then you can basically delay your reverb according to the delay that you've added. So if you have a quarter note delay, your reverb tail is going to wait until this quarter note delay hits, and then we're going to hear the tail. This helps to clean up things like vocals, or create like rhythmic elements, or create like slapback reverbs, especially really good with brass. So check it out. I'm going to do this here on the drums, okay? Now you can see that the reverb comes after a perfectly timed 8th note. So you can add a lot of groove like this. It's really, really powerful. The same thing you can do with the reverb end, okay? So I can say, you know what, maybe I want to have an 8th note. So now the reverb ends after an 8th note. You know what? I'm gonna save that preset. I call this drums reverb groove. Now let me show you these options here, and then I'm going to move on to some vocals. Reverse. I mean, how cool is that? By the way, if you like the plugin, I'm gonna have a link down below. Feel free to check out the demo. I think you'll be amazed. And if you buy through the link, you're also supporting the channel. So I thank you in advance. If you haven't subscribed, by the way, what are you doing? You know, just subscribe. It's completely free. Okay, let's move on to the freeze now. And now the ducker. I mean, see why I wanted to make this video, even though I'm not in the studio, even though I'm terribly busy. But this is something that I wanted to share with you guys. You know, the ducker, of course, as you can tell, it basically ducks the signal, just like with the space out reverb. Very, very useful, especially for vocals. I mean, but with drums, you can see that it can give you like a very, very cool groove, and also you can create some really nice pumping, really exciting effects. Now let's move on to the cleanup section, and here we have the damping. Now this is very useful because you can basically tailor the reverb to your needs. For example, if you don't want to have the kick drum so prominent in the reverb, you can just turn up the high pass filter. Or if you don't want your hi-hats to be so present, you can turn down the low pass filter. Then we have the sides cleanup. And then, of course, the gate. Now, this is something that sometimes I need to use multiple plugins to do this, but this works so well. First, we have the threshold control, and then we have a release control. So it's a very, very versatile gate. Let's try on the snare. So you can get this gated reverb really, really easily. And to be honest with you, even on the whole drum kit, it actually works very well. Then the next section is the shape section, and here is where we can make the reverb brighter or darker. And we can also add some smoothing to the reverb, which is something that I really like. Check it out. Now, another very cool thing that really intrigued me is this section here. So here is where you can determine how the reverb is going to react to transient information, right? So you can turn this down and you will favor the attack of the signal, or you can turn it up and you will favor the sustain. So the reverb is not going to be so sensitive to the transients, but more to the body of the sound. So maybe this is going to be a good option for vocals where you don't want like sharp attacks to come through the reverb, but maybe for the drums, you might want to use the transients. So let's try and shape this a little bit. See, the sound changes completely, and I'm going to turn it all the way up to wet so that you can hear that. See, it's a way more kind of round sound when you go to the sustain section. Really, really lovely. And, you know, this is something that I've never seen on a reverb up to this point. If you know any other reverb that does this, please let me know in the comments. I'd like to check it out. So without any further ado, I'm going to move on to some vocals now. Let's see how this fares for vocals.
I feel the weight in light we light, day after day after. A new day. I feel the weight.
Hear that? Now you can hear the modulation.
In light we lay.
Hear that?
Day after day.
Beautiful.
A new day.
Okay, now let's try the darker. In this case, I'm using the gentle on mode. So I'm turning gentle on because it's vocal, so I want this to be smooth.
I feel the weight in light we light, day after day after. A new day. I feel the weight in light we light, day after day after.
Okay, let's try the reverse reverb now.
I feel the weight in light we light.
I mean, how beautiful is that? I mean, it's really lovely. You know, let's try the sync start now.
Day after day after. A new day. I feel the weight.
I mean, this is so cool because with this feature, you can avoid blurry delays 100%. It's beautiful, beautiful. Or you can make them super long. Check it out.
I feel the weight
So this is something that's completely unconventional because most reverbs, they have a tail that you can set in seconds, milliseconds, and so on and so forth. So maybe if you want like a typical tape delay, you're going to go for 1.8 seconds. But this actually syncs it to the tempo. So you can actually say, no, I just want to work with milliseconds and so on and so forth. But you can actually sync it to the tempo, which is great for vocals.
The day after. A new day.
And then if I want to say, okay, I just want it quarter note, it's gone, quarter note. This is so fantastic. Before I leave you guys, I'm going to show you how this sounds on a very, very basic synth sound, okay? And I'm just using my Max keyboard right now to play. So weird, but... Okay, now let's turn it on. And this is a preset that I've created called Synth Drive. And I'm going to sync the reverb to 2 bars, okay? So it sounds like this. It almost sounds like a second synth sound. So cool. So I'm starting it after an 8th note and it lasts for 2 bars. So, boring synth sound test passed. So there you go, my friends. This is Crystalline from babyaudio. In my opinion, this plugin is a no-brainer, okay? I'll just say it straight away. Even if you have tons of reverbs like I do, this is just something completely different. It offers so many different options, and along with spaced out, you know, you have some really special reverbs to choose from. This doesn't sound like spaced out, to be honest with you. It sounds completely different, and to be honest with you, it's so utilitarian. You can sculpt your reverb sound so easily. And I love that because I rarely use presets with reverbs. I always create a custom reverb for every production. So thank you so much for joining me today in this kind of unusual video. I hope you enjoyed Crystalline, and I'm gonna have it in the link down below. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, leave a like, all the good stuff. And my friends, I'll see you on the next one. Bye!